The Sacramento Kings have finally arrived. They snapped their long 16-year playoff drought fantastically. Heading into the 2023-24 season, they want to establish themselves as one of the most feared teams in the NBA. Their head coach, Mike Brown, won Coach of the Year, and their GM, Monty McNair, won the Executive of the Year. So they are stacked from top to bottom. NBA great Charles Barkley has high praise for them as well, saying this: "They are going to be solid. Let's not sleep on the Sacramento Kings. They might be the third or fourth best team in the Western Conference. Now they have confidence. I am telling you, the West is going to be very interesting. I would take Sacramento over Golden State." Yeah, you heard that correctly. He said that he would take them over Golden State. And while to some that may sound ridiculous, we just may be able to change your mind. And it all starts with the head of the snake, De'Aaron Fox. He was the biggest reason the Kings snapped their historically bad playoff drought. He averaged 25 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists per game, shooting 51% from the field, 32% from 3, and 78% from the free throw line. He put the entire league on notice this past season, and his teammate Davion Mitchell feels like this year will be his best. Man, De'Aaron, I saw something like he was a top 5 MVP candidate. I think it's true. He's running the team, he's talking more. In my rookie year, he didn't know because of the coaching changes and trades, so he was talking less. You could see it slightly, but he wasn't talking much. Then he was injured, so it was tricky, but now he's talking more. He's being a leader. We already know what he can do on the floor. He's playing defense more, guarding the best players, and doing that type of stuff. And when you got a player like that at that level, playing a lot of minutes, a young player, I think we're going to be tough to beat. He's shooting the ball really well, little things like that he's added to his game that makes him a top player in our league. It's clear that De'Aaron is evolving right before our eyes, and it's fun to watch. His strongest attribute is his mid-range scoring and finishing around the rim. He was 6th in the NBA in points in the non-restricted area, which, for those who don't know, is the spot just below the free throw line where Fox is seen taking most of his buckets. This has become a sweet spot for most elite scorers. And I know that there's this narrative that the mid-range shot is dead or shouldn't be utilized as much, but still, if the best scorers in the NBA focus their entire offense around this area, it has to have some significance. SGA, Ja Morant, Trae Young, Luka Doncic, and Jalen Brunson were all in the top 10, along with Fox in shots in the non-restricted area. And players like Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Devin Booker are just outside of the top 10. Nonetheless, De'Aaron has mastered the shot from this range. His unpredictability, matched with his blazing speed, makes it nearly impossible to block. Just imagine, he gets downhill and the defender runs full speed beside him. Then, all of a sudden, Fox steps to the side mid-stride and shoots a high-arching 7-footer. There just isn't any way to consistently stop that. He knows this too. That's why it's one of his go-to moves and spots in clutch situations. His efficiency in this area, combined with his improvement from the free throw line, is why I'm positive he's going to average over 25 points per game again. As we mentioned earlier, he shot just 32% from 3. To those on the outside looking in, this may look kind of terrible, and technically it is. But still, real basketball fans know he's never going to shoot the 3 ball unless he's wide open, or on a scoring streak and he launches up a 3 like a heat check situation. But while his speed and mid-range are dynamic, I'm really a big fan of his playmaking and decision-making. He's gotten noticeably better at making reads, especially in the pick and roll. And this isn't really all that surprising either. When he came into the NBA, he was known mostly for his ability to play the true point. His team is top 10 in both three-point percentage and three-pointers made per game, which increases his confidence in always looking to get his teammates open looks, because it's obvious they can knock him down. For his defense, while he still isn't the best at navigating screens and still makes a lot of bad IQ defensive plays, you can tell he's putting in the effort on this end, which is all you can really ask from your star player. And from what I've seen, he's looked pretty solid in one-on-one situations, so if he can build his overall defensive IQ, it'll be huge for the team moving forward, and how we view him as a player. Now, Fox isn't the only dynamic guard on the roster, because they also have Malik Monk, who more than holds his own. While he only averaged 13 points in the regular season, his production drastically increased in the playoffs, which is always a great sign. He scored nearly 20 points per game, scoring 32 in Game 1 versus Golden State and back-to-back 20-plus point games in Games 5 and 6. The 25-year-old has shown he can show up big time in the postseason. He's one of the league's best spark plugs off the bench today. He's a tough shot creator and athletic finisher, and overall, he's just really skilled offensively. Defensively, he isn't the best, but he played solid defense in the Golden State series. The player who has all the D on the roster is none other than Davion Mitchell. The 24-year-old is already one of the best on-ball defenders in the NBA. Mitchell's tenacity and willingness to give 100% on every possession makes him vital for the Kings' success moving forward. He played great defense on Steph Curry, although he was exhausted after chasing him around all of those screens. But that experience is going to benefit him as early as this upcoming season. He recently spoke about how he loves playoff defense and how the refs' loose officiating benefits him. Defensively, refs tend to let things go a little bit, and it makes it better for me because I'm a physical defender. So the ticky-tack fouls, they're not calling that because they're just not calling that. And I think that's what makes it fun because it's actually, I feel it's more real basketball a little bit because so many people in the league are good at drawing fouls. If they called it in the same way in the regular season in the playoffs, I think the playoffs wouldn't even be fun. It wouldn't be fun because there'd be so many free throws. It's a completely different ballgame, not even close. Yeah, and the way the Kings are playing, he'll be in the playoffs for years to come, not only due to his defense or De'Aaron Fox's talent, but also because they have one of the most skilled big men in the NBA on their roster, Domantas Sabonis. Sabonis averaged 16 points, 11 rebounds, and 4.7 assists per game in round 1 versus the Warriors. He's a double-double machine. He's one of the best rebounders in the NBA, all while being one of the best post scorers in the NBA as well. We all know he didn't perform up to expectations in the postseason, but that doesn't mean he was terrible. Battling with the Warriors will only make him a better player. His playmaking ability makes him unique. He's one of the only players who can rival Nikola Jokic as a post playmaker. His decision-making and precise passing make him a great teammate for players who love to cut baseline. Teammates such as Keegan Murray, who plays well off of Sabonis. He's a great cutter and shooter who's always putting himself in Fox's and Sabonis' vision. Murray shot 41% from 3 on 6 attempts per game. In a way, he's like the Kings' Michael Porter Jr., someone whose main job on offense is to shoot threes and stretch the floor. Murray definitely is the better defender though. He's versatile and mobile, and he gives effort. He has a lot to learn and is far from his potential defensively, but he'll be a good player in this league. The Kings are one of the best shooting teams in the league for a reason. They don't just have one 40% shooter. Kevin Huerter is entering that realm of being one of the most underrated players in the NBA. And I know I said Keegan Murray is kind of like Michael Porter Jr., but maybe that comparison belongs to Huerter. Fun fact, this video is being recorded on his birthday, but the evolution of his game has always been very impressive. He's not just your standard catch and shoot wing. He can put it on the floor and create shots for either himself or his teammates. He averaged 15 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists, and he averaged 1.1 steals per game. He's also a decent defensive player. He has good size and length for a shooting guard, standing around 6'7". Suppose he can continue to put up 15 plus points and shoot over 40% from 3. In that case, he's going to be crucial for this team. He did underperform in the playoffs, shooting just 20% from 3 and averaging 9 points, and he does have a history of playing poorly in every playoff series he's ever played in, dating back to 2020. But I think he's going to thrive this season in his second year in the Kings system under a great coach and team. Harrison Barnes re-signed a 3-year, $53 million deal, and let's be honest, it was worth it. He's a great complementary piece and has tons of playoff experience from his time in Golden State, except he's much better than when he was when he played for him. He's a better shooter, scorer, and defender. Barnes averaged 15 points and 4 rebounds while shooting 37% from 3 and 84% from the free throw line. Like Huerter, he too underperformed versus Golden State, but nonetheless, he's still a quality proven role player. Their big man depth is looking nice this season as well. Behind Sabonis, they have Alex Len, Trey Lyles, new addition Sasha Vezenkov, and another new addition, Nerlens Noel. The Nerlens Noel signing is huge. Remember, the Kings' biggest problem in the playoffs was defense. They couldn't protect the rim even if their lives depended on it. And don't forget that he averaged a monstrous 2.2 blocks per game in just 24 minutes back in 2020. I know that was almost 4 years ago now, but that was the last time he was ever healthy. So just imagine what he can do in Sacramento if his health can stay in check. He could be a game changer for sure. Another sneaky pickup they made was getting Chris Duarte. His career is off to a rocky start, but he has potential. He averaged 13 points while shooting 37% from 3 and 84% from the line in his rookie season a couple of seasons ago. The 26-year-old can provide even more bench scoring next to Monk. All in all, the Sacramento Kings are on the rise. Their only real concern is defense, so there's going to be most likely some moves made at the trade deadline mid-season to fill those holes. But even with a mediocre defense, they were able to battle out with the Golden State Warriors for 7 games. But what do you think? Are the Kings better than the Warriors? And how do they stack up in the West? Let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.